Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Connected Kinesiologists Meetup for Monday, August the 23rd. I'm Angela Pereira of First Line Education, and we're back this week with all of you, which is wonderful. We're going to just have a chance for each of you to introduce yourself if you like. And then from there, we'll jump into our session for this week. So Catherine, would you like to go ahead and just say hi?
So hi everyone, my name is Catherine. I graduated from kinesiology at Western a little over a year ago. In September, I wrote the kin exam and became registered. I started working as a registered kin receptionist at a physio clinic in Sarnia. And next week, I'm actually starting physiotherapy. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, next week already. Oh my gosh. And that's at Western or U of T?
McMaster, actually.
Oh, so. McMaster. Oh, excellent. Very, very good. Well, congrats again. And you'll have to keep us up to speed on how that's going.
Oh, yeah. I'll keep trying to pop in. I really like these calls. So.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. That's just great. So hi, Christiane. Do you want to jump in and say hello and let us know where you're coming from?
Sure. My name is Christiane. I did my master's of professional kin at U of T. It's actually part of the first cohort. Right now, I'm working in Northern Ontario, about 3 hours from Thunder Bay. Super rural hospital, but it also has an LTC and an outpatient option as well. I'm also helping with a virtual kinesiology clinic to help out a couple of seniors, like a seniors community center in Toronto. So I guess I'm doing a little bit of everything.
I had remembered that you were helping out virtually. And so as you're getting in touch with me, I'm thinking, how is it you're seeing these clients? And then I remembered, oh yeah, right. You're doing virtual in Toronto as well.
Yeah.
Hi, Emma. Do you want to pop in and say hello if you're available?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Emma. I graduated from kinesiology Guelph Humber in 2018. I'm writing the ARKIN test in September, so 1 month away. Right now I'm working as a recreation coordinator for a senior center in Toronto on the Toronto Island.
Nice. Yeah, we chatted a little bit about that last week. What a neat opportunity for a place to work. So yeah, that's sounds like a lot of fun.
Virtual and in-person programs.
Sorry, pardon?
Virtual and in-person programs.
Yeah, that's great. Does anyone have a preference for virtual or in-person? How's that going for you?
I personally like virtual programming because I don't have to travel an hour and a half downtown.
Oh, right. Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, but it's different with seniors and technology. Sometimes it's hard for them to do certain things with it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be a little bit more adaptable and more creative with how to do the programs in person or online, I mean, versus in person.
Mm-hmm.
But then some seniors, have limited mobility, so they can only do the virtual programs. So you kind of have to work with your population.
Right. And Christiane, are you noticing any pros and cons very specifically? Do you have a preference either way?
I definitely prefer in person just because I find that you can kind of do a whole lot more things. Because especially obviously I'm working with seniors. Like I had a session this weekend and it was just so difficult to try to get her to do certain movements because she had to have the camera angled certain ways, and it was just like a really big struggle. I'm thinking it's probably not as bad for maybe like adults, younger generation, like it's not as bad, but with the seniors it's a little bit difficult. But at the same time, I do think there is a benefit, especially up here in like rural Ontario. At one point we actually didn't have a physiotherapist, so we got grant funding to basically have a virtual physio come in. She would come in physically for like a week out of the month, but the rest of it she would do virtually, and she actually had a decent success. And again, like it with rural Ontario, it becomes really difficult. I mean, some people have to travel like an hour and a half just to get to the hospital.
Yeah, it's incredible what the ground people need to cover in a rural area. It really is. I know just from having our cottage in Halliburton, there's a naturopath and a physiotherapist that drive in from Bracebridge once a week. And so they kept saying, don't you want to work up here? I'm like, no, this is the cottage. And they're like, come on, we can give you a client load. No, that's okay. I'm good. And for a while I was seeing clients and remembering, these people live a long way from town. So it's quite a commitment to do the in-person. And when you want to do virtual, it can be a challenge for sure. So I had an idea today that I want to test with all of you. I have a very willing client who wants to come on our meetup, and he would love different opinions on how he should manage his condition. So what I did was posted in our Facebook group earlier today about this person, and I'll share my screen. And what I'd like to do is just show you a little bit about him, and then go through a little bit about the before and after so far videos that I've taken with him. And so first of all, to give you some background, he's 68 years old. He has lower back and hip pain on his right side, bilateral knee replacements, a right hip replacement, psoriatic arthritis, diabetes, and associated foot neuropathy. And I had said, yeah, it's pretty normal for my client population for people to have 4, 5, 6 different chronic autoimmune conditions. This is the age group I tend to see often. Anywhere from 70 to 95 is really my client niche. And definitely people with these multiple conditions. That's where I love to work. And so his biggest concern out of that whole list, what do you think the biggest thing for him, biggest concern for him might be? What would he prioritize?
Guessing the diabetes.
Sorry, the diabetes?
The diabetes, I'm guessing, or maybe the foot neuropathy.
No, interestingly, right? I would think the foot neuropathy would really bother him. He said, no, I'm used to that. I was like, what do you mean you're used to that? He goes, oh, I've had that for years. What? The biggest concern for him is his lower back pain, lower back and right hip pain, because that influences everything he does. He doesn't really notice the foot neuropathy anymore. He wears these soft slippers that protect his feet inside and out. He has, when you meet him, you'll see his hands. They're contracted. He has his fourth fingers don't stretch out straight, and he has kind of like claw-like hands. So he can't put on shoes. He has dexterity with his index finger and his thumb. And maybe his third finger. That's about it. But he doesn't really move the last 2 fingers very much. So you can imagine he's trying to navigate a spoon and a fork and getting dressed and tying shoes. Very, very challenging for him. So what I can do is I'll show you the first video, which is on the right side. And that was taken in June. And then I just took the other one today. And I'm curious because I haven't spent time to look at both to see how this might have translated for him. So what I'll do is just make this one big here, and let's play this one. And let's see if I can, yes, hit play. Here we go. So very painful back day. He's never been this bad since. Those are his elbows fully extended. You can't extend the elbows any more than that. And then I'll show you, we'll come back to this one, but I'll show you, let me just see how this might work. There we go. I'll show you today's one. So here we go.
You do a rating. What do you think of this match? On a scale of 1 to
That's
10.
exactly what I'm looking at.
God bless you.
He asked me if I was focusing on his bum. How much was I looking at his bum? So look at the difference here.
You do a rating. What do you think of this match? On a scale of 1 to 10.
That's exactly what I'm looking at.
God bless you.
His gait's a lot better the second time.
Yeah, I thought so too. I'll stop that for a second. We'll go back to the other.
Yeah, because the first one he always went with his left leg. He never, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
If you notice.
exactly. See how he steps with his left. His most of his pain is on his right. So he's only stepping to as opposed to stepping through.
Mm-hmm.
And then you might also appreciate the difference in the amount of ankle dorsi and plantar flexion between the two videos, I'm realizing. So let's look at the second video here once again. Now watch the difference now with the ankles.
You do a rating. What do you think of this match? On a scale of 1 to 10.
That's exactly what I'm looking at.
God bless you.
So notice he has, I'll just, I can mute this here so you don't hear our commentary. But notice how he has more dorsiflexion and plantar flexion on the left than on the right. See how he's still got a kind of a swing through on the right, and he's got to really shove his body weight onto his left leg in order to bring the right leg through. But he does bear weight on both legs now. You can see the big pelvic shift, which I'm going to have to work on. See how his head weaves side to side?
Yeah, I was about to mention that, yeah.
Yeah, and that, of course, we know shouldn't happen. So he's having some difficulty in what particular muscle group? Trying to bear weight on each side.
Abductors?
Yeah, abductors and extensors, right? So glute med, that's a typical kind of drunken sailor sort of gait when people have reduction in strength of glute med. And you're right on, Christiane. He also with abduction, you can see how he has quite a bit of abduction, particularly on the right. And you can't tell from his shorts whether the abduction comes just at the tibia, sorry, if he has rotation of the tibia bilaterally, or if he also has rotation of the femur. And having tested his glute med before and then just last week, it was a significant reduction in glute med strength, which caused the external rotation at the feet. So he's got that duck-like gait in order to keep himself balanced because he can't really bear weight fully on one side or the other. What I can do is I'm going to stop the share of the screen. I will go in and show you, can I show you his exercise program? Let me just test this. I may not be able to pull it up because it'll pull up his name. Though he did agree that it was okay for me to share his identity with you. So let me pull up his exercise program and you can see what we've been working on, and perhaps you might have some recommendations. What I've been doing very recently is working on his the dexterity of his fingers and his toes. So we've been doing a lot of work on ankle dorsiplantar flexion, hallucis longus, and also plantaris. Sorry, peroneus longus is the other muscle group we've been working a lot on to try and lift the arch. Here we go. Okay. Oh, I can actually, let's see. Yeah, so I'll share the screen again and you can see what we've been working on. And I'll just, so working on walking with the cane here. And if I scroll through the instructions, I've said, stand tall through the top of your head, walk slowly down the hall and back. Remember to move slowly and purposefully. Walk through your foot and push off through your toes. Allow your feet to stay in that Charlie Chaplin stance for now, because he doesn't have the muscle strength for me to ask him to have a parallel gait just yet. So what we've said is until your hip muscles are stronger, your feet are going to stay in this Charlie Chaplin orientation. As your glute med gets stronger, you won't need to have that external rotation at the hip any longer, and hopefully at the tibia too. So your feet will actually start to align a little better on their own. And what I asked him to do was do that hallway walk just once a day. And we're not quite there yet. He's been trying to do it 3 or 4 times a week. He still doesn't understand that he needs to do this every day. So, and I work with him for 30 minutes once a week. So the next thing we work on, and this one he may not need anymore actually, is just a really high level chin tuck, like right at the axis and atlas, a really, really high level chin tuck. And then he rolls down through the cervical spine and upper thoracic spine, and then he unrolls all the way back up. So he's doing just the first part of extension and flexion. And that actually seems to be going well. He's much straighter and taller, so he's understanding his head position a little better. Shoulder shrugs, because he walked with his shoulders around his ears. He wasn't aware of the tension in his shoulders, so now he has to drop the shoulders, pull the shoulders all the way up without going into cervical extension. So chin stays tucked in, full shoulder shrug, and then coming all the way back down. And that one's going very well. He's disassociated head and shoulder motions now. And then he's doing this on his own. He's actually using the tabletop and trying to press his fingers straight. And I was playing with his 4th digit today. It is absolutely locked on both hands. Not even painful to try and extend. There's no movement in there. It's absolutely locked. So I'm not quite sure what to do with that. So I can ask your opinions on that one. And then he has to go through and flex every single finger where he can and extend it. And very interestingly, as I was looking at him today, he hyperextends through the 3rd and 4th finger. He has incredible, or sorry, 2nd and 3rd finger, incredible extension, like hypermobile. And yet the 4th finger is fused. So very, very, very odd there. And then also on his own, he is doing some meditation. So we talked about breathing through the nose only, no breathing through the mouth. He's taping his mouth at night, which stopped him from getting up to go to the bathroom in the night. So he's sleeping straight through the night now, which is great because this changes the pH level in the body. So it doesn't activate the kidneys. So if you get up often during the night, or a client gets up often during the night, changes the pH level in the body because it alters the function of the kidneys. So that was interesting. So he's doing really well with his breathing. He no longer lifts his rib cage to breathe. He's very much we were getting a lot of rib cage excursion there and strengthening the diaphragm. He is also, and this is something I'll work on in the next week, I'm trying to get him to roll over so that he can do breathing on his belly. Why might you think it would be helpful for him to do breathing on his belly? Any ideas?
Biofeedback?
Yes, biofeedback. And the kind of biofeedback is that when he inhales and his diaphragm contracts and the pelvic floor relaxes, it causes, of course, the rib cage to widen. When he's face down, which is what they do with COVID patients, it forces the diaphragm to contract, and there's the resistance of the bed. So the diaphragm strengthens by contracting against the mattress. So if you're looking for a way of working on people's breathing and strengthening the diaphragm, put them on their side or better on their belly if they can be in that position. And that is really interesting for helping to give some resistance to the diaphragm. When we're sitting up, of course, we have no resistance. Lying down on your back is a little better, but putting them on their side or better yet on their belly is even better. So that just reminded me to do that with him. And then we've got to work on articulating the femur and the hip joint. So starting to work on alternating leg slides and maintaining pelvic stability. So he puts his hands on his pelvis, and I should just update the instructions here, lying on his back with the knees bent. Slide one heel along the ground, gradually lengthen your leg, use a towel and your sliding foot. This movement's smoother. So he doesn't have any problem with this last part. Heel along the ground, straighten your leg. And what I would say here is place your hands on your on the front bones of your pelvis. As you move your leg, make sure your pelvis stays still. And that's all the instruction people need. They realize, oh, okay. And their muscles will react in whatever way they need to in order for the pelvis to stay still. So that's a nice pelvic stability exercise. And he actually is doing these daily. I was recommending once or twice a week, but yeah, 2 times a day is not happening. So we modify our expectations. Twice a day, he is doing shoulder shrugs. He is doing that one once a day for the walking. Yep, so that's pretty good now. Clamshell, we changed. And the clamshell now is actually, let's trash this one, is a side leg raise. So what we do here is add an exercise and search for side leg raise. And it's this one here that he does. And we can add that to the program. And we'll just move it up from here to here. And I'll just say side leg raise. We don't have the wall. Often I have people back up against a wall or against their sofa, so they get pure hip abduction that way. So lay on your side and for him, I'll just say lay on your side. With your top leg straight. And heel. Stretch towards the opposite wall. Your pelvis is straight, isn't very good guidance. I'm going to say your top hip is on top of your bottom hip. That might be a better way of saying that. On top of your bottom hip is, I'm going to say, stacked on top of. There we go. Now lift the top leg up, brushing your heel against the wall. So lifting the top leg up, pelvis should not rock. should not move. And your toes should point forward at all times. Your leg must not rotate. And I'm just going to say, instead of must not, I'm just going to say, keep your knees and toes, knee and toes pointed forward. And does not move. And there we go. Keep your knees and toes pointed forward, lower the leg without touching the ground, and repeat. So what I actually have learned is that lower your leg and rest completely for a few seconds and then repeat. Because if he's able to relax completely and then reinitiate the movement, it's much tougher for him neurologically than to keep going up and down. We want him to turn everything off and then turn everything on again before he continues, in order to continue. So lay on your side with your top leg straight, toes pointing forward, heels stretched toward the opposite wall, your top hip stacked on top of your bottom. Lift the top leg up, your pelvis shouldn't move, keep your knees and toes pointing forward. There we go. 8 to 10 repetitions daily. So I also keep the reps really low. We want to make sure that he's not getting tired out. And then he's just doing dorsi and plantar flexion. And he's doing that twice a day when he's lying down. So that's his exercise program so far. What I also have him doing, and I'll just stop the share here before I go on, is I'll just pull up, he's only got the one program there, but I'll show you the second part of his program. And it's a foot program, foot and ankle program. So I'll save that and exit that. So any questions about that part at all? No, pretty clear. Okay, and I've got a lot of, whoops. I'll show you here. I'll just share my screen again. The nice thing about this Physiotech software is look at all the programs I've got stored so that I can just call up all of these different ones. So we've got some standard ones that we use in our courses. And then I've just got ones that I've put together for clients. So foot and ankle strength and mobility. Let's have a look and see. Yeah, so here's the other program I gave him actually. So you can see that all right. He's got seated toe and heel lifts. He actually has a bit of a bunion on his right foot. So it also is another factor in his right-sided pain. He's not bearing weight through the big toe properly on the right side. So he's using a band, just a looped band, and he's doing calf raises and toe raises with tension so that he's starting to develop the muscles around the big toe a little better. This one here, this heel raise with the tennis ball is fantastic. And this is the one that's training peroneus longus as it wraps underneath the foot. And so he's got to keep, there's a cat under the keyboard holder of the computer. If you could only see this, it's hilarious. So this way he keeps his feet parallel, the ball is trapped between his ankles, and he's coming up and down. And so he's working on adductors, and then he's also bearing weight through his toes, which is fantastic. Then I have him stretching his plantar fascia and getting more motion in through the toes on each side here. And then he is just gliding back and forth. So in this picture here, what he's doing, let me just expand this here and I'll show you the instructions for the last one. So he has 2 exercises, and I've given this to all of my clients now. They have their toes against a wall, And then they're pressing their knee forward. The picture's not really clear. They're bringing their knee forward to tap the wall. And then they slide their toes back a little bit and they bring their knees forward to touch the wall again. And they just continue doing that until their knee can no longer reach the wall. And then what they're doing is lifting the heel of the back foot. So they get more mobility through the base of the toes. But I also make sure that when they raise their heel, that they don't allow any abduction of the foot, of the ankle and the lower leg. So they have to keep good alignment through the feet as they work through the toes there. So those are the two programs. One is very ankle and foot and toe focused, and the other one is hip. I've just got some sideline shoulder mobility for him. He can't yet do a side bridge. So that's the next thing, is the side bridges on the wall hurt his back. So we're doing them. We've tried them on his, I'll stop the share here. We've tried them on his bed. And so he can struggle now to get his elbow underneath him, and he can actually do a side bridge. So I'll update his program and just add that side bridge in, because he's doing that one as well. So working on quadratus lumborum strength, a little more glute med, ITB strength on that bottom leg as well, when he's up in that side bridge. So any other thoughts for me? Anything that I've missed, or any questions that you might have about his protocol so far? Length, number of repetitions, variety, anything like that? No, so far so good. While I'm thinking about it, I better go in and add that side bridge before I forget.
Do you do any pelvic tilting just to like loosen up the hip?
Yeah, we do that before we do the leg slide. So thank you for that. When he's kind of getting ready for the relaxed breathing. So what I'll do is, thank you, Christiane, I'll add that in after the relaxed breathing before the leg slide.
Or even I was thinking like one thing I like to give is, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, like a tail swish.
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't heard it called that before. Okay, tail swish.
Do you get the concept?
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Because I kind of like doing because I had taken like a Pilates, restorative Pilates, so like a lot of it obviously was core, and so she would have this whole routine of like pelvic tilts, side to side, tail swish, and then the compass going like all the way around.
Right. I'd heard it called a pelvic bowl, and kind of keep the water in the bowl as you go all the way around. Yeah, that's a good idea. So I've got the relaxed breathing, the pelvic tilt. Yeah, thanks. I'll put that one in and save that. And then I'll just add the side bridge in as well. The side bridge is just phenomenal in terms of the amount of things it can do. And I think the side plank at the counter, I really wanted him to be able to kind of use his bar counter or the wall. Wasn't going to happen. He was just really uncomfortable. And so there's a picture here of a hip hinge side bridge. I'll just share my screen again and show you this one.
Or what about that like mermaid stance that you had talked about a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, that's an idea. I don't know if they have a mermaid. Let me just double check. So we've got the hip hinge side bridge, which is where I was going to start him. And then eventually we'll move to a side bridge with a hip abduction. But let's see if they have a mermaid sit here. Some very advanced side bridges. They don't. So what I can do is I just contact the company. I send them a video of me doing the mermaid sit. I'll search for it first. And then I'll ask them to add it in, and they're super quick. They do it within a day for you. So we added that. So I'll go back to viewing the program, and it should be right at the end. Yep, there we go. And so what I'll do is I'll just slide it up to where I think it belongs. And I'm going to put it, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to put it after the shoulder motion. So he's done. Yeah, I'm going to put it after the sidearm raise. And why might you think I would put it after the sidearm raise as opposed to before the sidearm raise? I put it there so that he can actually get some awareness out of the shoulder. And when you're side lying and doing abduction of the shoulder, bringing it up toward the ear, it actually takes the scapula and it rotates it beautifully. And all the muscles that control the scapula light up when you do that particular exercise. So if he's going to be bearing weight through the shoulder, I just want to warm up the muscles of the scapula first before I put his body weight on that shoulder and ask him to support himself. So we'll do that little bit of a motor control warm up before adding the side bridge. And what I just did with this hip hinge side bridge was I took out some instructions. I'm not a fan of asking people to engage their core and contract their buttocks. I would rather show them the movement, have them breathe gently through their nose. That'll engage their core as much as you need to. I want them to be able to use their rib cage to breathe while they do the exercise. And engaging the core is not an easy instruction to give a client where they don't particularly know what to do there. So I don't give that particular an instruction. But what I will do is say, breathe gently through your nose. And that's enough of an instruction to make sure that they get activation of the diaphragm and transversus abdominis with exhale. So diaphragm with inhalation, pelvic floor relaxes, and with exhalation, they get transversus abdominis contraction and pelvic floor contraction. And that's what we're looking for. So lie on your side, propped up on your elbow with your shoulders and knees in a straight line. Shoulders and knees, shoulders and hips in a straight line. So lie on your side and your knees. Prop yourself up on your elbow. So I won't say in a straight line right now, too difficult. So see, this isn't a straight line here. This is a hinge. So shoulders and hips, actually shoulders and hips are in a straight line, but he doesn't need that instruction. So lift up and push your hips forward. Lie on your side, bend your knees. Prop yourself up on your bottom elbow. Lift yourself up on your bottom elbow, push your hips forward. You should end with your shoulders. Yep, that's fine. So what would you recommend for repetitions for that one? Any ideas for reps and holds there? Keeping in mind this is brand new and he knows he can't really do it that well. So I would usually say 2 to 3. So
I like that angle.
what's that?
The cat, she was looking straight at the
Oh, I
camera.
see. There's a lamp you could probably see the light from and it's warm. So I'm surprised. Well, there's a book in the way. This is my current reading. The Complete Guide to Candida for another client, a male client with Candida, and his toenails show the effects of Candida. So we're going to gently work through a Candida cleanse for him and see if I can get rid of it. Yeah, so 2 to 3 times, nothing big, and a hold, I would say, just a hold enough time so that he's not coming up and crashing down. So 3 to 5 seconds, just come up, have a breath, and go back down. So that's what I would recommend there. Now also look at this, 12 exercises, holy smoke. That's a lot as well.
I was also wondering about his posture, because I guess we can't really see it in the video, but like, do you find he is a little bit more like hunched forward?
No, he's actually straightened up quite a bit. Let's look at those videos again and we'll just double check and see what's happening there. So we can take those one out. These ones he's now doing on his own, so it's not that they have to be in his program. Relaxed breathing he is doing. So anything that that's regularly a part of his day now won't be part of his instructions necessarily. This one can come out as well. So now 6, that's much better. Yeah, okay. So now I'll stop the share. Oh, let me save this. So I'll save that. There we go. I'll stop the share. Yeah, let's go back and we'll take a look at the video once again. Delilah, I hope you're learning a lot here. This is very important. Okay, so let's check his posture. Yeah, and I'll do this next time. I'll look a little more closely. So let's see. Hard to tell, but I just realized something. He's using 2 canes in that video, and I brought my walking poles for him.
You do a rating. What do you see?
And so with the walking poles, he may be straighter. I'm thinking he probably is because they're so much higher than his canes. And you're right. Next time I'll get a better angle. There's an angle, and just right at the end, and where the light's shining on him, and you can still see he's pretty head forward, right? Yeah. Okay. I'll stop the share there.
I was just thinking of like maybe like Cobra or Cobra Prep kind of exercises maybe.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think what I will do is I'll make a note to see if he can comfortably roll onto his belly and see if he can get his elbows underneath him. So that, yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you. We'll see if we can get him into that and then start to see. I wonder, I think his back, he said his back was feeling better today. It's twingy, he says. So it's not completely better, but it's not as achy as you saw in that first video. So we'll try and see what can happen with doing that kind of Cobra prep with his elbows underneath him. That could be a good start. Yeah,
and do you know, like, where does the contractions, like the contractors, like, where does that come from? Is that like a Parkinson's thing?
No, that's psoriatic arthritis, where he gets such degeneration in the smallest bones first of his body. And interestingly, his feet, he'll laugh, but he has beautiful feet. He has very straight toes, no hammer toes. He has a slight bunion on the right foot, but I can shift the toe. So it's not a permanent state. And so that's why we've been doing those exercises to strengthen abductor hallucis so that he can actually get the toes to come into a straight line. So it hasn't affected the toes. He has restriction in his knees. He only has about 90 degrees flexion of the knees. He has a little more than 90 degrees flexion of the hip. So I don't know that that's affected by psoriatic arthritis. I think that was just probably some poor post-surgical knee replacement rehab. They got it to 90 functional discharge, as opposed to him actually having greater than 90 degrees. Does he need greater than 90 degrees? Not really, not really. So that's why he would have been discharged. But he can straighten his legs fully. So I don't know that psoriatic arthritis can be blamed for that restriction. Yeah, so it's very weird. You'll see he has quite an interesting hand pattern with that big with the big fix of that fourth finger. So yeah, and today really tried to straighten it. He goes, it's not even that it's painful, it just doesn't move at all, which is really too bad. So today I had my fingers in between his and we were doing stretching, which he has no problem with. And then he was squeezing my fingers to work on the abductors. He can make a fist, but he can't open the palm fully. And he has more muscle wasting through the right palm than the left palm, and a little bit more thenar muscle wasting on the right side, and also through the fifth digit as well. And the right side, the left side is a bit better, a bit more muscle bulk there. So he's an interesting cat. Yeah. But thanks for those suggestions. Any questions about anything that you think I might want to look into?
Did you also mention that his elbows didn't fully straighten as well?
Yeah.
From the arthritis as well, do you think? Or
exactly. Yeah. His elbows are just locked at 90 degrees. And there's no pain when I actually try and get him to flex against my resistance, extend against my resistance, or try and passively move him through elbow flexion and extension. Nothing. No pain, but no movement.
So there's no way to really straighten that out then?
Not that I know of. And so I have to do some rabbit hole digging and figure out, like, we've taken really big strides to clean up his diet, increase hydration, add fish oils, add vitamin D to encourage calcium absorption. He's on high dose magnesium. Lots of different nutritional tips. We've taken him off all food preservatives and colorings, removed him from processed and packaged foods as much as possible as well. So the idea is, how can we take inflammation and just drive it through the floor? Reduced sugar. I think he's eating next to no sugar.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So as many dietary changes as I could possibly encourage him to do. And I just pester him about hydration, just as everyone, just to try and get it up there and maintain that. So I think when we increased hydration, his pain level improved as well. Yeah, which was good. Yeah, so that's the other thing is vitamin C, magnesium, vitamin D, fish oils, increase water, reduce packaged and processed foods, no preservatives, no flavorings, no coloring. We really 10x'd his veggies. He removed a lot of the simple carbohydrates, so no rice, potatoes, or pasta. He's removed those. So lots of roasted veggies, fresh salads, chicken, fish, high quality beef. A vegetarian diet would not be a good idea for him. He needs a big variety of amino acids. That would be most helpful for him. Yeah. Well, thank you for those exercise suggestions, and I will put them into place next Monday for him. And then we'll see if we could get him to come on maybe, I think we're into Labor Day in a couple of weeks. So he may be able to join us next Monday or the Monday after Labor Day. So I'll ask and see when he might be able to come on, and we'll interview him and see what he thinks of all this and see what other suggestions he might have too, because he's pretty resourceful as well. Any other questions or any other suggestions?
I just had a question about the program that you use. Like, is that something that's free? Do you have to like pay for it monthly?
It isn't free. I pay for it annually. I can give you a hefty discount on it if you'd like. I've used it for, I think, 12 or 13 years, and it's come a long way since then. I don't need the kind of software where I have to actually do periodized programs for my clients. That program does have a way that clients can interact with me. So I can cut off their exercise program at a certain date, and they can let me know how they're doing. So they can put their progress in real time.
Okay, cool.
Most of my clients are not at that level, but they print out I'll either print out the pages for them or they print them out and we go through them together. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll show you the, let me just grab the program name, Physiotech. They're based in Montreal. And I'll just put this in the chat for you. And then if you're interested, let me know because they give me a nice discount for you. So I can pass that on.
Yeah, I'll look into it. Once I'm registered, then I'll probably need it.
Yeah, I find it really good to have software to rely on. That program is nice because the pictures are real people. And I'll just show you one more time here.
Do they have videos as well, or is it videos of those people?
It's videos of those people. So that's exactly what I was just going to show you. I'll just show you that quickly here. Let me just share my screen. There we go. So if you click on any one of these, let me just find one. If you click on one, then the client can watch the person doing it as opposed to a line drawing. And they like that. So they can have their laptop or their, my clients are pretty fancy. They have like their phone or their iPad beside them. So here they are in their later, not this client, but later stages in life, and they're still heavily reliant on their software. So it's yeah, that's the one thing I really like about this one.
Can you do telehealth through it, like video meetings?
I think you can. Yeah, I should double check on that because I'll just stop the share here. I haven't done that before, but I will make a note to double check that. But I think let me just see. I think you can. Let me just go to their homepage. I think that I remember seeing that on their homepage here.
Yeah, because it was like so strange. We got one software and it was practically solely to do it with GLAD virtually. And then they're like, oh, we don't have group. Like you can't do it with group. And I was like, oh, well, that defeats the whole purpose.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Let me see here. Oh,
so now I'm just trying to like find like something that gives like really good exercises, but also offers like group telehealth.
Let me just grab this one. And I'll just share the screen once again and we'll read it because I usually log in so quickly I don't read the home screen. Home exercise program combines innovative technologies and expert design. Build a program in sections with instructional videos. Software motivates clients with tracking tools and analytics so you can watch what they're doing. Free trial. Let's just see, company platform tour. EMR integrations, which is really nice.
Telehealth, the first one.
There we go. Telehealth solutions, remote appointments with your patients through a telehealth platform. Platform is free. Oh, nice. There you go. Yep. So it's free with your subscription. which is great. And yeah, I haven't tried that before. So there you go. Secure telehealth without using Zoom. Launch a virtual visit through their encrypted software. They receive a secure link to join your consult, instantly connected with video, and in real time, you can update their program and share instructional videos. Oh, cool. There you go. So that might be, yeah, that might be worth a try, actually. Well, it's nice to know that they're PHIPAA compliant, which is great.
Yeah, makes our job easier.
Certainly does. Yeah, a lot less research that way. Well, who is this? This is Sam, actually. Are you Delilah or Sam? You're Delilah. So thank you from Delilah and I for joining us this evening and doing this. Do you find this helpful, kind of the real-time kind of client audits?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then if we actually get the clients on, that would be good too.
Yeah, I'll try. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to maybe like record myself having the gait of like one of my patients.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah, she's a bit of a huge mystery.
That would be great because then we can go through it together. So anything you'd like to workshop, let's use these sessions. I was thinking at least once a month we could go through a case study, and then another session a month we could have a guest, and then another session we could actually have a client on who would want to actually work together with a bunch of kinesiologists, and we can help them all together. And that might be kind of interesting if someone gets stuck, or if you're just looking for next steps for a client. They're doing well, but you want to know where to progress their program. We can do that too. Great. Thank you. And enjoy your evening. And we'll post this for everyone so you can take another look.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Bye for
Have a good
now.
night.